Hey guys, thank you for joining us again on our weekly analysis as we kind of talk about the stocks that we're going to be trading for the next 5 days. So if you guys don't know too much about the stocks, they go Monday through Friday for at least Arizona time and current California time. The market opens at 6:30 to the public and then closes at 1 o'clock. And what I mean by the public, there are preferred shareholders that I believe the market opens for them at about 5 o'clock, so possibly an hour and 30 minutes before us. And then there's aftermarket hours that is also for other traders. But pretty much I'm just wrapping up some kind of analysis that I'm doing on different stocks that I'm choosing. Again, these are just stocks that I'm choosing to talk about. This does not mean you have to trade them whatsoever. I'm kind of just talking about kind of the safety nets and resistance levels that I discovered on these penny stocks. And it would be great for you guys to join us. Last week as a whole has been one of our most successful weeks. The past 2 weeks overall, we've been consistently hitting 10% as a group. Friday was really exciting. I believe it might have been, actually no, it was Thursday where the team traded EAGL. We're buying in, buying out, buying in, buying out, buying in, buying out. And it was just really great, being able to trade with a group, telling us, where to buy in, where to buy out, just suggestions. These are all just suggestions. You kind of have to do your own analysis and kind of make your own decision if you think, this is a stock that you'd be willing to trade. But definitely, I mean, if you guys don't know too much about us, we are a smaller group. I started the group about, 4.5 months ago. So it's Techbud Solutions. You guys can join us for free on Facebook as of now. And it's pretty much, I believe at 111 members so far. So it's been growing, at a consistent rate. At least, I haven't done any advertisements whatsoever. Just kind of, it's mainly been friends, and then there are people who view my videos on YouTube and kind of, are interested based on what I've been able to succeed at this age because of this. And yeah, I mean, it's just been really exciting being able to see growth in my account as a group in a whole, being able to help people make money. And that's really the whole principle of this, being able to teach you kind of the principles of trading the stock market. And, that's really just it. So we have the Facebook group chat that you guys, or the Facebook page that, people can join. But for the active traders, we have a group me, which is, it's a live group chat. It's all of us. Right now, it's about 67 to 70 members on that group chat alone, and that's where we kind of share our just picks for the day. We talk about different markets, talk about different things, and we're kind of like a big family. It's not only we talk about investing, but we talk about our families, and then we kind of go from there. It's we're here to help one another out, and I feel the larger we grow as a group, we have more potential to, or a larger span of knowledge that we can kind of grasp going from that. So all right, and there's a 10-second delay just to let you guys know. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'm sorry, I'm just reading all the messages that are coming through right now. There's about a 10-second delay, so you can comment below, message me on Facebook, or if you're in the group me, message me through there. If you have your number, you could also message me there as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to get this set up. But yeah, thank you guys again for taking some time from your Sunday night. So this should be done in a couple minutes. It should be done around 9:30. I'm just going to pull one more that we were trading, or that we could potentially trade. And kind of let me show you kind of what I do. So I'm going to share my screen. It looks a little weird at first. All right, there we go. All right, so I kind of just look up the stocks. The reason I found this stock is it's just something that I was looking into myself. So I'm going to expand this. Actually, this one was one that was introduced by one of our traders in our group. I believe it was Jetson that discovered this one. There's a couple of you that contributed to different discoveries of stocks. So I'm going to hide that. I can't see. All right, 30 minutes. This is kind of just a little technical analysis. This is what I look at basically. So this is a 3-month span of ARMS. This is one that I've been trading on and off. And you know, penny stocks are highly volatile. So again, let's talk about the 3 principles that I kind of like to teach. So the first one is to not hold overnight. No matter what penny stock you're trading, penny stocks, you know, can range from $5 stocks. They're $1 or less. Therefore, that's why they are considered penny stocks. Those are highly volatile companies that, you know, can get delisted, which means, you know, they go down to 0, so you would lose all your money. Or if not, get delisted and, you know, you lose half your money or something like that. So by not holding overnight, yes, you are kind of marked as a day trader, but you highly, you know, I mean, you lower your chances of losing all your money. You know, when you should be buying in, you should already see a 10% potential. And if you don't, then you shouldn't be trading it. And that goes into our second rule. So I only trade stocks that have 10% potential. And by that, I mean, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So if I were to look at this, oh man, what's going on? All right. So when I look at this stock overall, you know, this one we're looking at 38.5 cents. So 38.5 cents, 10% potential. That's necessarily, you know, a 4-cent gain. So from here, possibly, you know, you're getting close to 42 cents. Yes, it does have that 10% potential. But look, this hasn't happened yet. Pretend it's the 15th, and that's when we're trading. Pretty much what you have to look at is this a good time to buy? And what you would do is you would go a little bit further back. And based on its history, yes, it has gone lower. But these are called safety nets and resistance levels. So a safety net is when a stock struggles to go below a line. So I say 40 cents. That's usually where it tends to stay above and below. You know, within the past 10 days, it's been staying below that mark. So what that means is you're only going to buy. I mean, it's not that you're only going to buy it. Is I would set a limit order to buy below 40 cents. So what that means is if I'm going to trade this, I'm going to put $1,000. I'm going to put my limit order to buy right around 0.385. And as you can see, you know, it touches that point and tends to shoot back up to 42 cents, comes back down, gets pretty close to it, if not touches 39, and then shoots back up, gets close to 42. And then, you know, always when it like shoots up, it never ends up, you know, fully hitting that second time. And sometimes it does exceed it. So you kind of just have to do your own analysis and see where it would be a good place to buy. For me, I would say, you know, 80, you know, roughly, yeah, 38.5 cents would be a good place to buy, and a good place to sell would be right around 42 cents. So what that means is this stock is getting pretty close to 38 cents. So I'm not going to buy in at 38 flat. What I'd say is, I mean, it has hit 38 flat. I can set a limit order to buy at 38 cents, but you want to make sure that you see upward momentum. So when it comes to you being at this point and the stock is, you know, just trickling around 38 cents, be ready. I mean, be ready to sell. You also have to, I mean, when you have that first rule of not holding overnight, second rule of 10% potential, and third rule is knowing when to sell and to secure your loss. I mean, trading stocks, it's not only about, you know, being a good trader and, you know, making money, but being able to know when to sell so you can kind of secure. I mean, the only way you're going to make money is if you can control how much money you lose. So for me, myself, I only lose 10% at most when it comes to trading stocks. So if I have a 4-cent, you know, kind of upward potential, I'm going to set a 4-cent downward potential. And sometimes I might even sell, you know, before. If I see it go below 37, I can do my own analysis. If I think that's a safety net, it's going to continue to drop, then I kind of just sell. But I mean, we've been getting, you know, we've been having really good trades within the past 2 weeks, but that's not anything you should be cocky about. That's something that you should, you know, just learn from your mistakes. So if it's a mistake that you've made, for ARMS, I don't know it very well, so I'm only going to buy in when I see upward momentum. And what that means is if I buy in, you know, like down here, let's say I bought in right around 38.5 cents, and I see it going in the green and picking back up, you know, that shows upward momentum. So I'd be okay with buying in. You know, it goes up, goes up, goes up, ended up getting 42 cents. I lock in my gains, and by, you know, but trading with 1,000, you know, maybe even $5,000, depending on how much you're willing to trade. People trade even with $100. It really doesn't mean, you just have to understand the principle of, you know, learning how to trade, how to read graphs, and learning the 3 principles to, you know, lead to your success. So if you can grow your account for every trade at 10%, you're already, you know, a better trader than 99% of those who actually trade stocks. So by that being said, you know, it really comes down to you setting yourself with a certain principles and following those principles. That's the hardest thing for people to follow, actually following the rules when it comes to trading. You kind of have to make your own rules and make your own decisions when it comes to, trading. No one's there to hold your hand. So let's say when I'm going to be trading arms, I'm going to wait and set my limit order at 38 cents, and I'm going to keep an eye on it. When I see it going, upward momentum, I might even buy a couple more and kind of just sell right around that 41 and a half to 42 cents. If I'm trading with $5,000, I can make $500, within a day, and that's great. I grew my account 10%, and I kind of go there for the next day. Making $500 a day, 5 days a week for the next year, that can lead you to making 120,000, I believe, just by learning how to trade stocks. I mean, that's the overall goal of making like consistent residual income, but that's really not just it. It's not going to happen overnight. It really takes a lot of hard work, and you're going to have to start off most likely with $100. And if you can make $10 every single time you trade, then that is amazing. Once you start growing your account, then just think about the potential that you can have of how much more money you can be making. So that's pretty much my analysis for AMRS. We're going to go into the next one, and that is going to be INVT. INVT is one that had a huge spike, and I believe this was on Friday. So I actually bought in around 39 cents and kind of went from there. I mean, this is above $1. So pretty much I wanted to get into a little bit more detail about this stock. If you guys go 3 months back, it's only gone below once. I actually remember when it went below. It's gone below actually a couple times, but it tends to stay above 140. So I told the team, actually Zach is the one that found INVT, and he's the one that kind of introduced us to this. So, anything below 140 seems to be a good buy. Do your own little analysis and, buy in when you see upward momentum. So last week it had a pretty big spike. It spiked up to around 175. So just think, if you buy in at 140, just like most people did, and it shoots up to 175, from 140 to 175, you're seeing 35%, 35-cent gain. So what that means is that's almost, a 30-cent gain just by knowing where to buy low. So I'm going to change the frequency. I'm going to change it to 15 minutes. So I really do think that this has a lot of potential. It really comes down to those who are trading. Make your own judgment. Kind of see the trends. It tends to pick back up right around the 140. Tends to hit 150 to 155. Me being realistic, I'm going to set my limit order to sell right around the 155 range, locking in my 10%. I do trade INVT with a couple more dollars, so I'll be trading with around $5,000 for INVT. If I can hit my 10% potential, then $500, lock it in, and if it ends up hitting 140 again, if I see upward momentum, I'll be buying in again. So I'm just going to draw this out for you. You guys want to take a screenshot, but be careful. I mean, if you see it kind of going down below 139, I mean, it has before. I believe it's hit lows of 129, which is 10 cents less, which is less. I mean, that's still within my stop loss, which means securing my loss. So I'd still be okay with that. I'd probably buy in at a little bit more down there, but do your own analysis and kind of go from there. So this is a 10-day period, but if we go down to a 1 month period, it tends to stay tends to hit this point and then pick back down. It tends to hit 150 at the most. If you guys can buy in at 135, 140, or 139, that would be ideal. Just because it hits down there, hits up here, hits down there, hits up here, hits down there, hits exceeds that. So it really comes down to you guys. But INVT is definitely one that I would keep my eye on. I would add it to your watch list if you don't have one already, and I would set your alerts once it goes sub 139. Or 140, or if you see upward momentum within 139, then do your own judgment and consider buying if that's something that you want to do. VESL, this is one that I kind of just want to talk about. This is again a larger stock, so those that are trading with $100 might not be able to see huge gains with this. But really, what it comes down to, if we're trading a stock that's about $2 essentially, you are going to need to see around a 21-cent gain to hit your 10% potential. So what that means is, okay, where is a place I can see a 21-cent gain? Obviously, the lowest point within the past month has been right along the $2 mark. If we go a little bit further back, it has been below $2, but it tends to stay above it. It has been in a constant, if you can see, a steady decline. So what we can do is, if we do a 10-day increment, change the frequency to around 15 minutes. So this means that and every candlestick stand for 15 minutes. what you can see is that it tends to have a safety net right around 210. So every time that it hits 210, it tends to pick back up, not all the time, as you can see. So make your own judgment. If you see it hitting 210 and you kind of want to hop in, then a good place to sell within 210, just know that there's $2.10. 10% would be around 21 cents. So from 210, you'd have to be, selling around this area, which, it does have the possibility of going up there, but just think of how common it is. Within, the past 10 days, it's hit that one. It's hit it multiple times over here. It's been close right here, and then it hit multiple times right there. So, some days it just spikes up, and it looks, like look at every day. Every day when it opens the 15th, it spikes up and goes down, spikes up, goes down, and then opens again, spikes up, goes down, spikes up. So it tends to spike up during the morning. So with that, I mean, make your own decision. So if you think this one might spike up, read a little bit more about the company. But this is definitely one to keep your eye on. I would set my alert right at, if it goes sub, 210, then keep your eyes on it, big time, and kind of do your own analysis and see if that's one that you want to trade. So again, 10% potential, not holding overnight, and being able to secure your losses. So setting a stop loss. Twitter's a pretty big company. I mean, this is $18, so you'd essentially have to see a $1.80 gain to even see 10% potential. So this is not one that I'm saying that this is to trade like a penny stock, because this is definitely not a penny stock. This is Fortune 500 company, I believe. So this is a 1 month increment. But overall, this company hasn't been doing very well. It's been picking up, but at least with the disclosures I've been reading about Twitter, when it comes to social media kind of companies, Twitter has not been one that's been doing very well. But with, I think, the presidential campaign, as it's been picking up, so has Twitter, as this is kind of where most of those political topics tend to be shared. But I just want to say, keep an eye on Twitter. For some reason, it kind of caught my eye. And by that, I mean, just within like this 10-day analysis, you can buy it right around that 17.55, and it has a $1 potential. And what that means is that's not a full 10 cents, but this is definitely a great stock that kind of some people can trade without seeing huge losses or huge gains, but kind of just getting into the stock market. And yeah, so I'd kind of set my safety nets, which means a safe area to buy right around 7.55 or at least sub 18, right? And then a resistance level, which means a high place to sell, but yet a safe area would be right around 18.76. And that's pretty much it. So that's it for Twitter. Dust is one that I spoke about. If you guys look a little bit, I think like 2 weeks or 3 weeks back in our analysis, this is one I actually spoke about when it was hitting one of the lows, and it's been on a steady decline. And I said, based on its history, when it tends to go below $6, around above $5.50, it tends to pick back up. And just me being able to see that, I knew I had to see a 50-cent gain, which I definitely saw, but I didn't expect such a quick gain. So if we do a 10-day analysis, it was right around like 5.55 when I was talking about it. It spiked up, went back down, and it's been in a constant incline and then decline as well. So overall, I think this is one to keep an eye on. I'd say set your safety nets right around this area. This is a gold company, so right when it starts to go below $6, set your alert there. So when it goes sub $6, I would say this would be one that you should definitely be considering. Kind of read a little bit more into gold and do your own analysis. If you do see upward momentum within dust, then this is definitely one to look out for. I say the overall safety net would be right around here, which around 55 cents, which is kind of where I did my shot out for it, and it tends to have a resistance level right around 7. Let's just do a flat 7, as stocks, or at least myself, like even like zeros or fives. And that's pretty much it for dust. We're going to talk about SKLN. This one had a lot of momentum within the past 5-10 days, and since this is a penny stock, again, not holding overnight, 10% potential and stop loss, but it was playing around 14 or 15. It went down. Overall, I believe the stock has stayed above 10 cents. So if we see that it has touched 10 cents, and just think of those people that bought at 10 cents, bought in at 10 cents, spiked all the way almost up to 20 cents. So that would be almost 100% potential. And I actually remember that day, because It wasn't that long ago where I kind of regretted not buying when I knew, you know, I saw that and I did my own technical analysis, but it was just a little bit too risky for me. But, you know, kind of do your own analysis. Think of how much, you know, you're able to risk. If you're trading with, you know, $5,000, but you want to kind of give it a shot and trade with $500 and see if you can, you know, hit that 10% potential with this. I'd say even if you're trading with, you know, $20, $50, $100, whatever it is, start small, and kind of it's all about percentages. If you can do a 10% growth per trade every single time you trade, then again, you are a better trader than 99% of traders. So, I mean, on average, you know, your average IRA or 401k tends to hit, you know, 5 to 8% growth within a year. If you can do that within one day or one trade, then that's amazing. Obviously, we're trading with smaller accounts, at least for people that are compared to 401ks. But when you become a day trader, you know, you can be trading with $50,000 to $100,000. And if you're hitting 10%, then, you know, you could be hitting that $10,000 every day. Obviously, that's not what I'm doing. But, you know, it's a start. So we kind of just have to get into the groove. So again, this is a 10-day analysis. I'd say a safety net for this stock alone, actually within the past 5 days, it's been going a little bit lower. So I'd say keep a close eye on this one. It might go sub 12. And the reason I say that is because within the past, you know, day of trading this, it actually went, you know, below 13, which is something that, you know, doesn't tend to do too often. So that's, you know, a little scary, but make sure you take a look. So if to see a 10% gain on this one, even just seeing a 2-cent gain on, you know, at 12, and if you can sell at 14, that's, I believe, 15% for SKLN. But it really comes down to if you see upward momentum. So let's say, you know, you buy in and you see it picking back up, and you can see that you can sell within, you know, 1.5 to 1 cent, then, you know, you can lock in your 10% gains. If you're trading with like $100 to $1,000, you could be making $10 to $100 per trade. It really comes down to, you know, you learning the principles. So I'd say, you know, a good area to look out for SKLN. I would like to say, you know, try to buy in within that 12.5 area, and a good resistance level right around right here. So around 14, just as, you know, you can see as, you know, it drops and then tends to pick back up, and it likes to stay below 14 cents. It does go above it, but not too often. And for those that are trading, I'd like to get filled no matter what. So if I can set my limit order to sell at like 13.99, then I beat all those that are trying to sell around 14 cents. So that's my little trick. Tend to go pick back down, then, you know, it could possibly spike up, but just know that it could also spike down. So do your own analysis and kind of, you know, jump on in whenever you think that it would be a good buy-in. EAGL is one that we were trading like crazy. This one saw, you know, 40 cent, almost 50 cent gains, you know, trading at 34 cents and almost shooting up, you know, past almost 60 cents, which was crazy. And yeah, we rode it a couple times. I want to tell you guys kind of where we were talking about it. So it had this huge spike. I told the team kind of to hold off, and we wanted to, you know, have it kind of set its safety nets and resistance levels, and it kind of set those right around 44 cents, and we saw a good resistance level at 48 cents. So I was like, that's perfect. That's our 10%. That is what we need. And this is within a 1-day period. So from the 21st to the 22nd, we traded this. I traded this twice. A couple of our members traded it 3-4 times, and they locked in 10%, or even more than 10%. Trading this. So I bought in at 44 cents. I set my limit order to sell at 48 cents. Right when it hit 48, it sold. Right when it sold, I set my limit order to buy at 44 cents. It hit 44 cents very quickly, and most of my teammates got filled at 44 cents. And then I sold right again at 48.5 for my second time. It went down again at 44 cents. I told the team kind of to keep your eye. It might go sub 44. But it ended up, you know, going and picking up, but it kind of slowed down throughout the later hours, and I kind of went into work already. So with that, I stepped away. It ended up, you know, hitting highs of, when it closed that day, I believe it hit 52. When it opened the following day, it hit 57. And I knew within the second day that the volume wasn't going to be as high. Most traders were going to try to jump in. They kind of rode the price up, and all those that knew how to, you know, really trade knew that there was a resistance level right around, you know, 57 cents. They all sold, and sadly, you know, most people ended up losing. You know, they could lose thousands of dollars just because they thought it was going to continue to rise. And it was in constant decline. I told the team kind of to step away, make sure that you see upward momentum, and we definitely did not see that. We saw some around like 52. It picked back up to around 50, 56, 55, and then dropped sub, 44 cents. So when it drops below, you see, I mean, when it really comes down to this huge incline means that, you're going to see probably a huge decline. So it's not just going to be a steady incline. It's most likely going to be a big drop. When the market opens on Monday, you might see a huge drop, putting it back around that 35 to 38 cent mark. But, kind of do your own analysis. I'm only going to be trading this if I see it kind of set its safety nets and resistance levels. And yeah, I mean, EAGL is definitely one that I trade quite often. And the group, really profited from this one. I believe on Thursday when we traded this as a group, we, I believe profited about $1,000 as a group in a whole. And our Garrett, which is a new trader, being able to lock in. Actually, no, it wasn't Garrett. It was John that locked in a little bit over $400 for that day of trading. I think he was working or just kind of hanging out. I believe he's in San Francisco, California. I'm sorry if I'm sharing too much information, John. But let's see, how do I? All right, there we go. So, all right, we kind of just stopped right on time. It's almost 9:30, and that was pretty much our weekly analysis. If you guys have a couple more questions of stocks that you guys would like me to talk about, then feel free to comment below. Or kind of just reach out to me on Facebook. I'm so sorry for those who have reached out to me these past couple of days, really. And I haven't been able to get to that. We were supposed to schedule calls. I was able to call some people. I don't know what's been going on, at least my Instagram. I've been getting a lot of like spam when it comes to like likes and followers, and then I get a huge amount, then they go away, and don't know what's really going on and how it's getting all really this attention. But I've been contacting some of you, and you guys have been sending me messages, and just hasn't been working out just because I've been working every single day. So feel free. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm here to help you guys out. If you guys have messaged me, like 50 times, and I still haven't responded, message me again. I'm going to have a little bit more time within the next couple of days. So reach out to me. We'll schedule a call. We'll get you guys started. And again, as of now, Techbud is a free group you can join, and I can kind of get you started on trading penny stocks. And, we have great programs or great connections on how to get you started so you make the most money when you're starting out, and kind of get you on the right steps to growing your accounts. But yeah, and then if you guys didn't see on our Facebook, so again, the link is down below. We're going to be taking a trip within the next couple of months to Greece. I really want to try to stay around the Athens area. And the trip overall, including flight, it's going to be round trip and this amazing, it's not a resort, it's just like a house. It's kind of like a modern home. I want to see if we can get a really small group, or if we can get a larger group, then we can get multiple houses. But really depends on who's actually willing to go. The trip is going to cost around roughly $800 to $900, including everything. And that's really it. I'm just trying to, right now, at least do 5 to 8 people. I believe I already have 5 to 8 people that can go. And then once we have those 5 to 8 people, we're going to get, just a group overall, kind of like a group meeting, and then make sure we all put in our money and, schedule the whole trip. And then we're going to be sharing our whole experience. I want to be going Monday through Friday and trading. So we'll probably get there, Sunday night, and then we'll trade Monday through Friday. And it's great because I figured out it's 10 hours ahead. So when the market opens over there, that's why I want to get the day before so I can sleep. And then when the market opens, it's going to be 10 hours ahead of time of 6:30. So it's going to be around 4:30, 3:30 that the market's going to be open for Greece time, which is going to be great. If I can get adjusted to that time zone, then that would be great, because I won't be so tired to trade. And we're going to, have an amazing view, amazing experience being able to trade kind of across the country, across the world, and being able to make money kind of like within the 5 days. My goal is to break even with, like, if it's $1,000 that the trip is going to cost me, then I can easily make those $1,000 back within that 1 week period, at least for myself. And I'd love to have you guys come kind of, bond and being able to help one another. And it's going to be a great experience overall. I believe we're going to be taking a trip within the next 2 weeks to Hawaii, and then we're going to be trading over there. And that's only going to be for like 3 to 5 days. I'm not too sure. But then, yeah, thank you guys again. Feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions. It is right around that 9:30 mark. So thank you guys. If you guys didn't know, I am selling my Nissan GTR. The link is on my Facebook as well as on my Instagram. You guys can go ahead and follow me and kind of check it out. If you guys are really interested, then please feel free to reach out to me. I'm only really responding to serious buyers. I'm not financing. The car's paid off. I mean, I'd like to receive either cash or cashier's check, and that's really just it. I believe I have 3 people flying in within the next week to check the car out. One from San Francisco, one from Florida, one from Orange County. But yeah, thank you guys again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found this video somewhat helpful. And if you did, then feel free to share it to someone you think will benefit from this as well. As you know, we'd love to be able to help them out. Thank you guys and take care.